Okay, crew chief. Now, make up your mind now. Do you want me to make it or not? Do you want me to try to make it? Or are you going to tell me halfway through this run, if you slow down or if you save fuel, you might be able to make it?
Well, if I look back at my FedEx understanding the race, we're probably going to have at least one more caution. Hammer down. Let's go.
All right, brother. I'm with you. Just don't spring nothing on me last minute.
Closing up for the restart behind Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte, and Kyle Busch. Now our tail end of the lead lap cars in front of Jeff Burton. You see the pointers for those cars that are on the tail end of the lead lap.
There's going to be 58 laps to go when they turn the blue.
Green flag.
Up there to stay on the lead lap, and a lot of cars fighting to try to get their lap back, like Jimmie Johnson, the 48 car.
Yeah, Jimmie got hung behind that 34 car there of Andretti. He just couldn't get out behind him. It really cost him a lot of spots.
Tell you what, that was a battle for the lead we were just looking at with Kyle Busch.
Man, what happened?
Biffle going.
You know, that's that thing we were talking about earlier about low air and these tires. The thing just jumps sideways with him.
But this is a battle for the lead right here. Kyle Busch in that 18 car sat on the pole, had to go to the rear of the field because of the engine change. He's going to drive by Jeff Burton to take the lead with 57 laps to go.
First time today that the 23-year-old from Las Vegas, second time today that he has led this race, his crew chief Steve Addington. Busch said earlier this weekend, high school was tough for him. He didn't hang out with the football team or, hang out with the kids. He was home working on his race car. And the kids used to chide him. You're not going to make it as a race driver. What do you think you're doing? He said, I had to make it as a race car driver. I had nothing else to fall back on.
Well, I think he's done a pretty good job at it. Now, all of these cars he's racing with right now, like Sam Hornish Jr. in the 77, trying to stay out in front of him because they had made that green flag pit stop. They're what we call on the tail end of the lead lap right now.
Yeah, you got a couple of really good cars up there, too. You got Dale Jr. out there, and you got the 12 car, and who else is up there that's trying to stay on the lead lap?
Dale Earnhardt Jr., David Stremmy's out there, and Greg Biffle.
And Biffle, yeah, that's Biffle.
Earlier today on our NASCAR on Fox pre-race show, Darrell sat down with Jeff Gordon, and it may surprise you to hear what Jeff Gordon had to say about Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch, he reminds me so much of 1992 when this young kid came out of nowhere and started knocking the fence down for the first year, but after that has become a four-time champion.
I only wish that I could measure my talent up against his. His talent is beyond anything I've ever seen. On his days with that he's out front and that car's right, there's nobody going to catch him.
That would be bad news for the rest of the field.
I was just going to say, Steve Addington might want to dial that up and send it over to Kyle.
Second place.
I think there might be somebody who has a different opinion, a different idea about that, because that 48 car is moving.
So Bobby Labonte now second, Jeff Burton third in the 31. Brian Vickers and David Rudiman up in the top five.
Now what Jimmie Johnson's trying to do right here is get his lap back the hard way by driving by the leader. He would be the first car in line to get the free pass should we get a caution, but he's going to try to do it the hard way here because he knows every car that Kyle Busch puts a lap down, that puts that car in position to get the free pass.
I don't think Kyle's even going to race him. I think he's going to let him go.
I wouldn't race him. Why?
And here comes Vickers in the 83 for third place against Jeff Burton.
Boy, that's dangerous right there. At least it was yesterday in the nationwide cars. You get alongside somebody and snap that back end around.
Steve?
Mike, just want to follow up on the 83 car. I talked to Ryan Pemberton in the last caution flag. They, in fact, lost an alternator on lap 113, and they have turned everything off in that race car that they can to try and save power. Krista?
Steve, everybody needs to keep their eye on the 00 of David Rudiman. On the last run, the crew told him, you are running as good as anybody. He got better and better as the run went on. They made no adjustments, and they just told him, save fuel all you can. Matt?
Jeff Burton making his 400 250th consecutive start. Just keyed the mic and told Scott Miller, it will not turn absolutely at all. It is just plowing, man.
That car was so good on the last run. How can it be so bad after this pit stop?
Well, the tire is a spring, Mike, and all it takes is a little different rate in that tire, a little change of air pressure that changes the spring rate of that tire, and it can take that car from being a good handling car to not driving good.
Dick Bergman.
Well, Jamie McMurray is about 8 laps short of making it on fuel, but his crew chief, Donnie Wingo, is telling him at the same time to conserve fuel. Meanwhile, right behind him, Clint Boyer with a brand new team, car number 33, and a brand new crew chief in this series, has gone from 37th all the way up to the 7th position. Boyer said that this place has historically been one of his worst tracks. Last year he crashed twice. The year before he crashed twice. Today he has been flawless.
Well, after he crashed once in Montoya, you're right, Dick. Since then he's been. How about Carl Edwards? Edwards in 8th place. He was the odds-on favorite to win this race for the 2nd year in a row, but he's not really been a factor. He's led once for 2 laps. That's it.
The guy that's right behind him, though, kind of is impressing me today. That's the guy in a 20 car. He's doing today what he needs to do every week. Log laps, get some miles under your belt, learn these racetracks, bring home some information in a whole race car.
Dick Bergman has more on 18-year-old Joey Logano.
He has done absolutely everything right this weekend, Darrell. He did have a bit of a spin during one of the practice sessions, but since then, Logano has behaved like a veteran. 18 years old, is showing a lot of maturity here, running with people who have a lot more experience. This is his first time ever here.
It's only his 6th start in the Sprint Cup Series.
And Greg Zippadelli, his crew chief, Darrell and I were talking at break, they actually had brought that car to pit road on lap 173. I think until we got that last caution, they were on the agenda of trying to make it a one-stop race.
And it looks to me like if this thing should stay green, they're going to be in great shape.
And there's the 10th place car, that bright yellow Ford of Paul Menard, who you can see his serial score and how he's climbed his way up through the field today. And that number 98 for Yates Racing.
That's a great day for Yates Racing to have 2 cars up in the top 10. But I'm going to tell you another guy that's having a great run. He got the free pass is David Gilliland back there in the 71 car.
Yep.
This is a team that was formed late. They did not make the show for the Daytona 500 with Mike Wallace. David Gilliland got in the car last week. They qualified for that race, qualified here, and he's sitting up there in the top 15 right now.
So now that Jimmie Johnson has gotten his lap back, there are 17 cars on the lead lap. There are 45 laps to go. Who can make it on fuel? Who will have to stop?
Stay tuned for more NASCAR on Fox.
247 laps complete, 38 to go. Here's your top 4. Kyle Busch, the 18, Bobby Labonte, the 96, then Brian Vickers and David Rudiman, the 00. Rudiman's best career finish is 9th. And so he's working on a personal best.
And you heard Chris say that they told Rudiman he was going to run out on 284.7. That does not come as a huge surprise to me. Steve Holland, who is over there as their technical director from Formula One, those are the kind of numbers that those guys are used to dealing with. They don't deal in the lots. They deal in the little bitty numbers, and that's what that reminded me of when I heard that, like a Formula One calculation.
So if we stay green, he runs out of gas in turn 3 of the last lap.
Exactly.
Wow. Let's have a look at today's Sprint Monster Mobile moment. And it's going to be Kyle Busch getting a great jump on that restart. Remember, he qualified on pole but had to start way out back, and he worked his way up to getting this jump on the restart to get past Bobby Labonte for 2nd, then past Jeff Burton for the lead. And right now, Kyle Busch has a half-second lead on Bobby Labonte.
You know, Larry, I just pointed out to you Jeff Gordon, who's running 10th. You think about the tale of 2 pit stops, or 2 guys trying to get on pit road. Jimmie Johnson got on pit road, but he slid through his pit box. Jeff Gordon missed his pit box, but he stayed on the racetrack. While Jeff was on the racetrack and they're pushing Jimmie back into his pit box, caution comes out. Jimmie gets loses a lap, and Jeff goes on around and comes in and gets his tire changed.
Of course, the caution was for Jeff. You see the damage on his car, and Jimmie has since gotten back on the lead lap. So a bad run of luck, but a short one for the 2 Hendrick.
Seems to be.
But that 24 car, he had to make a couple extra stops, so he has 2 or 3 more laps of fuel than a lot of our guys leading this race right now, but he's cracked the top 10. He's up in 10th.
And that's what makes a champion, taking something bad, turning it around and trying to capitalize on, make something good out of it.
Now also Casey Kane and Robbie Gordon made their pit stops 4 laps after most of the rest of the leaders. Now Jeff's picks for today's AT&T fastest pit crew are the 18 of Kyle Busch, the 96 of Bobby Labonte, and the 31 of Jeff Burton. Don't forget to vote for the AT&T fastest and most valuable pit crew of the year.
Todd Parrott, Bobby Labonte's crew chief. You saw Steve Addington, Kyle Busch's crew chief.
Kyle Busch has not pulled away from Bobby Labonte. The margin stays pretty constant, Matt, at just about half a second. Can he get away, or is he saving gas?
That's exactly what he's trying to do, Mike, trying to save fuel. At the beginning of this run, Steve Addington told Kyle, you need to try to save us some fuel. Kyle responded a few laps ago, I've just been trying to be easy on the throttle, trying to save gas, but the car does continue to get looser and looser as this run goes on, Steve.
Well, Matt, Bobby Labonte knows he's close. Crew Chief Todd Parrott has told him that, and just seconds ago, Todd told Bobby Labonte, as you go on board with him, save fuel like Doug Yates told you this morning on the straightaways.
Which means 2 things I hear right there. One is that save fuel. Well, he means back off early on the straightaway. Don't take, if you turn 95, to only turn 92. That'll save a little bit of fuel. And a loose race car like Kyle Busch is driving, it'll burn less fuel. It's not bogging it down in the corner. So those 2 guys are on pretty similar strategies.
How about Carl Edwards, Matt, in 5th place?
Still turning lap times faster than the leader, but also somewhat concerned about fuel. He asked Bob Osborne about 10 laps ago, where do we stand? Are we good on fuel? Bob said 2 laps if we get so-so fuel mileage, 2/10 of a lap if we get what we expect. So it could be very close for Carl Edwards, Krista.
What about David Rudiman? Where are the calculations at now? We talked about 284.7. They were going to be 3/10 of a lap short. Well, Rudiman has been doing his job. He's saving fuel. The newest calculation, and it's very detailed, Daryl, 286.4.
Yikes.
As a rule, what we have observed over the last year or so, the Dodges and the Toyotas do not get as good a fuel mileage as the Chevrolets and the Fords. But when I look at that 99 car, how many races did we watch him win in 2008 when Bob Osborne said, I don't think we can make it. We're going to be 2 or 4 laps shy.
You're right. Nobody's better at saving fuel than Carl Edwards. Up front, Kyle Busch still holding station, half a second ahead of Bobby Labonte. Brian Vickers 1.5 seconds back.
Daryl, let's take a look at the telemetry on Carl Edwards here. Let's watch the throttle. See, he actually rolled out well before he got down into the corner. Now let's watch him feather it. We're looking at the throttle right here. He was quite a ways over into turn 2 before he picked that throttle up 100%. This is down the back straightaway. Rolled out even before he turned it off the wall down to the corner.
And all the way off. Not any part throttle. All the way off and then squeeze into it. Caution. Got a yellow out.
Back straightaway debris puts us under caution. This will be the 12th caution of the day. Is that a record? Yes.
And these are the kind of cautions I don't like, because desperate people do desperate things, and you're going to have a lot of people trying to get a lap back, and races coming down to the closing stages.
There's the piece of debris. Well, this is where all the fuel mileage is out the window. This is where you got to get on pit road, have a nice solid stop. But I just believe with probably a restart with just a little over 20 laps to go, I think we'll see some people try just right side tires on pit road.
Well, now, if you like long odds, do you know who has never won at Las Vegas in the 11 races we've had here? The driver who qualified on the pole. Pole winners never won at this racetrack.
Good point.
Kyle Busch won the pole, had to start in the back because of an engine change, and he is the leader.
You know what else, Larry? I'm just not so dadgum sure that there might be somebody that says, I'm not even coming in.
Hey, guys, right quick. It took him all day long, but right now he's leading the race and he's got the #1 pit position. So Kyle Busch may also have a huge advantage on everybody else, whether he takes 2 or 4.
Definitely going to take 2. I want that track position. We've seen it over and over and over that the car out front, he's got the advantage.
But if you're going with just the fuel only, you only have to be there. The car almost just barely has to stop. We're not going to be that shy on fuel.
Yeah. If that's all I was going to do, I wouldn't come in. I'm telling you.
Sam Hornish gets the free pass. And let's see who will come and who will stay out. And what will they do? Krista.
Well, it's gambling kind of town, right? Not for David Rudeman. They were so disappointed when that caution came out. They know they could have made it on the fuel. They're going to come in and take right side tires only. He says his balance is good. He just needs a little bit more grip in the center. Steve?
Krista, Bobby Labonte in the 96, he comes to a stop. Should be right sides only for the 96 and the 83 of Brian Vickers in the lower left, Matt.
And a chassis adjustment for Kyle Busch. Right side tires only. And what DW talked about, that's what Jeff Burton, the 31, was talking about. But he was told, we just need about 2 seconds of fuel. We can't try to chance it.
And a close call on pit road. Bobby Labonte was leaving his pit as Jimmie Johnson was coming into his.
That could have been real bad.
Clint Bowyer, the leader of those who stayed out and did not pit. Restart. If you like long shots, I've got one for you. One car on the lead lap did not pit. Clint Bowyer. Dixon is pit.
And his crew chief is Shane Wilson. How sure are you you're going to have enough gas to make it to the end and win this thing?
Well, we're definitely in Vegas, so we're going to gamble here a little bit, but being out front's the place to be, and we'll see what happens.
All right, good luck with it. Bowyer's in the lead on the restart.
He's from Vegas.
Shane Wilson is, yeah.
He knows all about gambling out here.
Green, and his teammate Jeff Burton hounding him down to turn 1.
But look at Kyle Busch in that 18 car, 4 wide in turn 1. He's going to get that good run off the high side of turn 2.
And he made it. Jeff Gordon was really kind to Busch that time. Gave him some room.
I mean, they're 3 wide all the way back through the field.
Oh, yeah. You know that thing you always tell me at the start of the race?
Yeah, I meant to tell you that time, too.
You better tell me right now. Childress has got to be feeling pretty confident right now, Larry. I mean, car's running first and second.
It's one of the few tracks that Richard Childress Racing has not won a race on.
And here comes a 31 car with a head of steam off of 2.
Big run.
Big run. Got that big power off of 2. Bowyer holds him off, though.
20 laps to go when they get to the line.
Those boys get to racing side by side. That 018 car, he'll be licking his chops back there, Kyle Busch.
Well, here's what Burton knows. He's got to get it done now because if a few laps on those tires, and they'll be more like equal.
Matt?
And Mike, what a weekend for this 18 bunch. 5 laps in the practice, they lost the motor. Won the pole, 5 laps left of final practice. Kyle Busch smacked the wall. They had to stay late last night. They came in 30 minutes early today to rebuild the right side of this race car. And one impressive stat, I think, of all for Kyle Busch, he's got 12 Sprint Cup wins, all at 12 different racetracks. But this could be the biggest win of his career at his home racetrack, Las Vegas.
It's not going to be easy, I can tell you that.
No, and it's a 3-horse race, and Burton cannot go for the lead because he's got to watch Kyle Busch right on his bumper.
Well, Kyle Busch makes a run going low into turn 1, but because Burton's on the high side, he can't complete the pass.
Car in the wall, backstretch. Is that Hornish?
77.
The wall.
77 got into it, but he didn't. I think he's okay. Still going.
Here they come for second. Kyle Busch on the bottom.
Now, he may be able to get it done this time going down into turn 1.
He's got him this time. He'll get that nice slow line if he can get back to the gas there.
He's been really good getting in, Darrell, but not so good getting off there.
You got to clear him up now. Clear him up. He got him.
He got him. Now he'll go after Bowyer, but Burton's not going to quit fighting back there in that 31.
Yeah, I don't believe Bowyer can hold off the 18. He's a little bit quicker right now.
Burton trying to come back on the high side and not let this win get away.
Well, that'd be Boyer's best friend if he if Burton can get up there and worry the 18 a little bit. But I've never seen anybody worry the 18 very much.
17 laps to go.
There he goes. He's sticking that nose down there. Oh, and he moved him up the hill.
Got him.
Yeah, baby.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Woohoo! Have you ever?
That's what I call confidence right there.
You gotta love it, man. You gotta love it.
Look right behind him, 3 wide, battling Jeff Gordon, Ryan Newman, and David Rudiman. Trouble, front straightaway, Menard in the wall, hard.
And Paul Menard was still on the lead lap. The caution will fly.
Boy, that's a shame. He was having a great run.
Menard was the 12th place car.
Yep.
All wadded up.
I wonder if they would happen to play Boyer that comment back on his radio.
I'm sure he'll
I bet it didn't have anything to Goodnight Gracie.
Let's see what happened to the 8's Racing number 98 here. Marcus Ambrose on the outside.
Whoa, they just had a little come together right there.
And Biffle and Logano got in the mix.
And it looked like maybe Logano got into the left front of Menard's car and it made it turn right.
That's a shame because he was having a good run.
Trying to hold on to it there. Oops.
You know what? I don't reckon he knocked that left front down when he made that little bit of contact with Biffle because that car turned too hard right, and the 20 didn't touch him.
No, not even close.
I believe he had the left front down.
Kevin Harvick will get the free pass on this, a record 13th caution flag. Here's what Dale Jr. saw.
A lot of sun.
Yeah. A little haze. Glare.
You
now
can
there
see
it
right
is.
there, the 20 car never got close.
No, he
to
didn't touch him. Now, I think that the 16 maybe cut his tire down. Cut the 98 Paul Menard's tire down.
Now, Mike, what's interesting about the timing of this caution is we're sitting here with 15 to go now. We'll probably get a restart somewhere around 11 or 12 to go. It'll be what we call a down finger restart. Single file, lead lap cars only to the front, so they won't have those down cars to fight on the inside.
Now this time, Clint Boyer does not pit. These caution flags will ensure that he can make it on fuel. And I guess not much reason to come to pit road and give up track position now.
Yeah. You're like looking down at the bacon. The pig's committed now. There's no coming to pit road.
Yeah.
Unless you're Dale Jr.
Well, if you're at the back of the field and
or
you
David
want to come
Gilliland.
down, yeah, I think that's a good call. You might pick up a spot or two.
Sam Hornish brushed the wall, and he's on pit road, and so is Robbie Gordon. There's Gilliland, new sponsor on Kevin Buckler's car this week.
Pretty good day for that little outfit right there, boys.
Yeah, lead lap car.
That's a team not even sure that they were going to try to continue to run the full schedule. They plan on being in Atlanta, but no plans beyond that.
14 laps to go. Everybody has enough gas and tires to make it to the finish, but who will get there first?